next up we got when a wannabe gangster gets busted for murder by the young Explored Us. Hey, another video by Explored Us, bro. It's consistent. That's what we love. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's consistent. So hey, let's see what it been time about.
Here, bring mine back.
What is going on?
Bring on your back.
Murder. What?
We know
What
you were
the
there with Chad.
They were all really loyal. They're just kind of like dogs.
He said if we ever talked, we were dead.
I'm just like, hey guys, you wanna go do this?
And when you said do this, what did you tell them you meant?
Wanna go kill somebody?
I don't know what to do. Do what?
Just call Grandma and Grandpa and tell them that they need to call
Counting all
later.
female
Bro, what is going on? What the yo?
Marred by a history of mental health struggles and attempts at taking her own life, a young teenage girl's family fears the worst when she goes missing in Pinckneyville, Illinois. But in a textbook example of reality being stranger than fiction, the Stevens family couldn't have dreamed of a worse scenario than the one that was about to unfold, even under those circumstances. 15-year-old Sydney Stevens was a bright girl who enjoyed fishing, four-wheeling, and hanging out with her friends and older sister, 18-year-old Dakota Wall. From the outside looking in, it appeared that Sydney was living a rather normal life. But underneath the surface, things were anything but ordinary.
It's low-key crazy though too, cause like you would think some people, like people say rich people, they live in the best lives, but those be the same people who be like depressed, literally depressed and everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, don't ever just judge a book by its cover. If you judge a book by its cover, and that's why I don't like when people like try to decipher people's life through like Instagram or social media, because you don't know what they're really doing behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know the person. You just judging off what you see. You feel me?
Tracy Stevens and her daughter Sydney had a great relationship, for a long time at least. However, in recent months, they'd been fighting. Not only that, but Sydney and Dakota had been engaging in fights of their own. Tracy's husband, Tim Wall, told police that Sydney and Dakota used to be very close, but had recently grown apart. In addition, Tracy's divorce from Tim was not something that Sydney took well. It left another void in her failing support system, especially when she found out that Tim was not her biological father. With the heaviness of everything weighing down on her, Sydney began to engage in behavior that was previously very out of character. There were times she'd run away. Even worse were a series of attempts she'd made to end her own life.
Oh my God.
When she went missing on July 19th, 2010, Tracy filed a missing persons report just as she had the previous month, an occasion where Sydney had chosen to disappear. While it seems certain Sydney had run off yet again, hours turned to days, and Sydney still hadn't returned.
Oh my God. Bro, and it's crazy because stuff like that really could change a person. Just like one big thing happening in your life, you could just be a whole different person, bro. That's so crazy. Oh my God.
Then a horrifying development came on July 25th. For a place that proclaims itself the friendly little city, it was anything but that on the fateful day. Two fishermen found the lifeless body of Sydney face down in the local Buku Creek.
Oh my God.
Detectives were stumped as there was little information to go on initially. But as the investigation
Okay, so y'all tell me in the comments, what y'all gonna do? So if your daughter starts going missing, right? As a parent, because then you say it happened multiple times. So the first time it happened, what are you gonna do as a parent to stop this person from going missing again or just running away? Like, how do you stop a kid? You know what I'm saying? I don't really know. Like, it's kind of hard to think, because like, what you gonna say? Okay, you can just lock them in the room forever? You know what I mean? Like, how you gonna stop somebody? Like, cause if you take them to, like, say you take them to like a little school thing or something like that, and they seem to be okay, you feel me? But then as soon as you was like, okay, we didn't went through all this practice, it seems like you're very good. Like, she just put on a facade for everybody. So people would be like, oh yeah, I don't know what I'm about to say, bro, that fast. God damn it. Fuck. Y'all know what I'm about to say though, bro.
immediately got underway. Details quickly.
It's hard to find out how she can get
emerged. Law enforcement would eventually
I'm high, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
unravel a tangled web of lies
Sorry, bro.
and uncover a shocking revelation that could only be described as the ultimate betrayal. Let's begin now with an acquaintance of Sydney and our first person of interest, 18-year-old Carl Dane, who authorities have called into question just 3 days after Sydney's body was recovered.
I guess you know what we want to talk to you about the situation with Sydney. What do you know about it, Carl?
About it or her? That whole situation or just in general her?
I want to know what you know about what happened to Sydney.
I don't know anything.
Do you remember where you were on Sunday night?
Wait a minute, this dude is stupid. What? You just told him that you knew something about the situation. He just said, do you know Sydney? He said no, but you know about she had a situation going on? How did you know she had a situation going on? You just told yourself that fast.
Do you remember where you were on Sunday night, what was that? 18th?
I was sitting at home.
It's a pretty quick answer. How do you know where you were that long ago?
I just remembered, I remember what I'm doing, every once in a while.
Bro, this dude is stupid, bro. Bro, that detective is funny, I ain't gonna lie.
Most people who are being honest have a reasonable memory. When suspects have a memory of extremes, detectives will see that as a red flag for deception. For example, if a suspect remembers what they were doing on an ordinary day 2 months ago, that is unusual.
Oh, God.
Going for the other extreme, if a suspect can't remember what they did yesterday, that's also unusual. Sydney's older sister, Dakota, is brought in almost 2 weeks after Carl's interview to talk about the tragic event. While getting settled, the detective, Janice Barber, informs Dakota that she's from Chester, Illinois, and relays that it isn't unusual for her to help out with major cases from other towns.
Can you tell me about your and Sydney's relationship?
Well, we got along great till puberty. Then it was the don't touch my stuff, I hate you, fall off the face of the earth kind of thing.
Typical teenage sister things.
But, we got along great unless I was on my period or she was on her period. Then we absolutely did not want to be around each other.
Sure.
But other than that, we got along great unless she was trying to take my stuff and we were fighting about chores or something.
So let's talk about Sydney and her disappearing. Her disappearance is what everybody originally thought it was. Where were you when you were notified of her disappearance?
I was at my boyfriend's house.
And who's your boyfriend?
Chad Bennett.
Okay. Last time you saw Sydney?
The day before.
The day before?
The day that she went missing, I'd seen her because I came back from camping.
Okay, and what time was that?
I got home at between 11 and 11:30 in the morning.
And then how long were you and Sydney both there at the house?
Yeah.
How long?
I got there about 11:30 and I came back at about between 3 and 3:30 and left about 3:30, so.
Dakota had apparently gone camping on Saturday, July 17th, 2 days before Sydney's disappearance. She promptly returned home the next day on the 18th. Along with Dakota, her 20-year-old boyfriend, Chad Bennett, had spent a couple of hours at the girl's home before the pair departed for Chad's house later that afternoon. According to Dakota, this was the last time she saw her sister. Shortly thereafter, something unexpectedly sinister was carried out, and things would never be the same.
Oh my God.
2 days after Dakota's interview,
that word sinister. Sinister is like a word. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like really, really. Like if you think the word sinister, you imagine what that means. Like somebody doing something sinister. Like oh my God, that is that word is. I don't know what type of. I'm trying to describe it though. How would you describe a word like that? Like I don't know. Like it means a lot, or I don't know how to describe it though.
Meet Chad, who may possess salient details regarding Sydney's tragic final moments. The detective begins by shaking Chad's hand, a gesture of respect, likely aimed at building a positive rapport. Chad sits slumped over with his legs spread apart, coming across as unaffected by the circumstances. Then again, this may be a comfortable position. Nonetheless, the detectives have...
Bro, you see how they literally judge every single thing you do. From the moment you step into the interrogation office, they already interrogate how you sit down. Your posture, bro. Oh my god, this is crazy, bro. They really like you had to literally be like, if you was trying to like beat the case or something like that, or like have a perfect way to escape and not get caught, you had to literally just be like the perfect, you know what I mean? You got to do everything perfectly, like the dude we seen, like, cause he already went to jail for it, or went to school for it. He was going to school for about like being a lawyer and shit like that, and being an interrogator. So he already knew the scam, but he was still at being weird though. You know what I mean? Like you had to be like literally everything on point. You know what I mean? It's gonna be hard though, cause they look, like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. They go to school for this. They literally go to school. They go to school to judge your human body, all the gestures you make. You know what I mean? Like, bro, they do it so smart, bro.
Most likely taken.
That's another thing too, because people don't like the people that come in here and try to get away. Like they be so dumb. They so stupid, and it's like they don't even if you did want to do some shit and try to get away with it. I'm not saying you should not try to do nothing. You know what I'm saying, illegal or anything. Like you shouldn't do this. But I'm saying even if you wanted to, bro, like why would you not think of a plan? They don't ever think of a plan. They just do it and then just think nobody gonna catch them or nothing, and then they get caught, and then it like you just like be so stupid, bro.
Note of this nonchalant behavior, and they proceed to question Chad about his whereabouts on Saturday, July 17th.
Yeah, what did you do that night?
Sat at home.
Okay. Do you go out with your friends or anything?
Maybe on a Friday or a Saturday. And I at the Carl's house.
Okay. You don't know which one it was? And so when was it the next time you saw Dakota?
The day after.
So Sunday?
Yeah.
And when was it on Sunday you saw Dakota?
I think it was Sunday, yeah.
Right, but what time?
I couldn't tell you.
Morning or afternoon?
I wasn't morning, so you can sleep.
Oh, you usually sleep in?
Yeah, so it'd be like probably in the afternoon, probably after like 1.
So how long do you think you stayed there?
A couple hours.
A couple hours? Where'd you stay at in the house?
Cody's room.
Chad tells the detective that following his short stay at Dakota's house, the pair decided to head to Carbondale, Illinois, where they picked up their friends Carl and 17-year-old James Glazier along the way. They apparently stopped at Buffalo Wild Wings for dinner, but left around 8 o'clock before dropping Carl and James off at another friend's house, 15-year-old Robbie Mueller, who we'll also hear from soon enough. Following this, Chad drove Dakota back to his house, where she spent the night. Since her phone was supposedly turned off, Chad had awoken to a panicked call from Tracy the next day, on July 19th. Tracy asked that he inform Dakota that Sydney had once again gone missing. But Dakota wasn't too worried, as this seemed to be a regular occurrence. However,
I just love how they like a regular occurrence. Like I really want to know how do you stop a kid from going missing? Like you damn near do. Like I'm really trying. Like you have to literally lock him up, bro. You know, or it's either you gotta lock him up, not lock him up, like go to jail, but like I don't know, some type of program or something. I don't know, to just stop them from trying to just go out and just run away and not go nowhere. You're gonna get, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was hoping somebody like, how do you stop a kid from doing that, bro? I really want to know. You know what I'm saying? It's either you lock them up somewhere, like mental asylum or something, I don't know, or a 24-hour surveillance care, or she just gonna keep going missing. It's only two things. Because how else do you stop somebody? Literally.
However, when she returned home from Chad's shortly thereafter, it was clear that something was horribly wrong. We pick up where Dakota is detailing what happened on that unexpectedly harrowing day.
So then you're at home about noon.
Yeah.
Then what proceeds from there?
When I got home, when I got home, my mom asked me if it was me in the house. I was like, yeah. She's like, have you heard anything from Sydney or heard anyone that knew where Sydney is? I was like, no. She's like, I was told, which is one of her friends, that Corbin had seen her up at that lunch thing, the free lunch they do with one of the churches here. They had seen her up there. And she's like, and I went up there, and one of the ladies that was working, they'd seen her walking uptown about 7 o'clock in the morning by the high school with a lady that looked like she was about her late 20s, early 30s. She's like, do you know anyone that Sydney would know that's that age? I was like, no. I was like, I don't know any names that with besides Carly and Jessica. And she was like, okay. And she's like, do you know? She's like, has anyone been on her MySpace or anything? I was like, no.
So you would go and check on MySpace?
Yeah, we were checking on MySpace every day to see if she'd gotten on.
Okay.
Because the last time she ran away, she kept getting on MySpace and making contact.
Okay.
And after a few days of her not making contact, that's when we thought there was something weird about this. Something not right.
So she goes missing and then... Okay. This... Yeah, bro. I don't know. This is...
Do you think something was weird and not right?
Probably about Wednesday.
Unfortunately, this gut instinct will prove to be terribly correct, though her family could not have foreseen the unimaginable circumstances of Sydney's last moments.
Damn, bro.
Because me and my mom, Monday, a little bit after I came back, we went in her room to look to see if she took anything or if there was anything out of place. And we noticed that the thing was knocked over, that plastic dresser, that there was papers scattered all over the floor, that her money was still there, and all the shoes were still there. And she's like, well, this is a little weird. She's like, but, maybe she just had the intentions of coming back. Tuesday, I do believe, was the day that we had noticed the drag marks. Because that's whenever we called the police station and they had Murray come down here, and Murray's like, well, it's just a chair. We didn't drag across the rocks. But I was just like, well, that really doesn't explain drag marks in her bedroom.
Was there...
What the...
A chair that had been moved?
The chair, yeah. There's a green chair that I have to stand on and hang laundry up on the hooks outside. And usually it's on the deck, but it was in the colored rocks.
And why was it there?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because my mom had showed it to me. She was like, come here. I was like, what? She's like, look at this chair. I was like, what about it? She's like, it looked like someone was trying to climb out of the house. I was like, so do you think that she snuck out? She's like, yeah. She's like, I think, so going downstairs, she came up here and went off the deck.
The disorderly state in which Sydney...
So how does she used to just... So did she just walk out the door when she used to run away or whatever? She used to walk out the door and just never came back? But this time she tried to sneak out?
His room was left could indicate that something far worse may have happened than the teen simply having run away.
Right, exactly.
Dakota follows up by telling the detective that Chad had come over to the house on that same Tuesday, July 20th. The pair supposedly watched a movie before Chad left around noon for work.
Did you guys ever talk about Sydney?
He had asked if we had found anything out, and I was like, no. I was like, we haven't found her or anything. He was like, are you looking for her? I was like, yeah. I was like, we're trying to see if anyone's seen her or not. I was like, but we haven't, anyone's seen her. And he was like, oh. He's like, well, I hope you guys find her. He's like, because your mom's already taking this hard. I was like, yeah. I was like, just a little bit.
Was he nervous?
Mm-mm.
How long have you and Chad been going on?
But you gotta remember, come on, bro. That's his girl, bro. If she don't come in here and, it's crazy, though, because you really think about it. Her sister, right? Something happened to her sister. But if your boyfriend, imagine your boyfriend do something to your sister. It's like, at that point, it's like, who do you love more? You should love your family. Family, you know what I mean? You always stick with your family. But as I say that though, just because somebody is in your family member do not mean if they're like a bad person or whatever like that, or you know what I mean, they're not good internally, family doesn't matter like that. But if they're just your family member and you love them dearly, the relationship is perfect, you know what I mean, a good relationship, yes, you're supposed to go with your family members. But it's who do you love more, your boyfriend or your sister? I don't know. That said, the relationship was just a normal teenage relationship. So I don't know, because girls, well, not I'm just gonna say girls, but when people get in love, bro, you be smoking mirrors, literally smoking mirrors, bro, smoking mirrors. You would be thinking the craziest thing, literally, you would literally not even do what you know you're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? You would do this, you would do that. You feel me? And you will literally just get caught up in just being in love and being caught up in just that you wouldn't really see where your life is going. You know what I'm saying? You just be thinking oh, I love my relationship. That's how love is, bro. You know what I'm saying? And definitely can be crazy. So I'm hoping that she's not like that, because especially as a young girl, that's where it happens. A young girl, first time being in love, like they're gonna do everything, bro. Y'all already know about the love situation. Y'all probably went through some stuff like that, or you seen like, bro, people be toxic relationships. You know what I mean? They only like the They don't even look. They be literally girls going out with boys. They don't even like the person. They just like them because of sexual things. That's the only thing. The person make them feel in a good in the bed. That's the only way they like them. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, he a toxic person, blah, blah, you know what I mean? So, hopefully she's not like that. You know what I mean? So, she should stick up for him, though. That's the thing. She should stick up for him. I'm thinking she might stick up for him. That's why my call is, me being a fortune teller, I feel like she's going to stick up for her boyfriend right here. And I feel like, because if your sister like running away, I'm trying to think like how much would she love her sister, even though they didn't have like the closest relationship. How much would she still love her sister? So I'm thinking like she probably, I don't know, bro. It's kind of hard, bro. It's hard to tell, bro, because this is an iffy case. Like your boyfriend or your sister. How do you know? I'm gonna just let it go. We gonna see, bro.
A year and a half.
Year and a half. I mean, you in love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The detective asks Dakota.
I wish I would have, bro. I should have played it a little bit longer, bro. Damn, Larry just said it.
If
she's in love. She says she's in love. This is everything we need to know. This is it. She's in love.
Chad been going on?
A year and a half.
Year and a half. I mean, you in love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you I was right, bro. I be right, bro, about this. I just know how it go. So she's in love. She said, just by her saying she's in love, it means that we gonna see though. We gonna see. Is she gonna stick up for her boyfriend, or she gonna, try to figure out, is her boyfriend a bad person and get away from him? That's the question right here. Or is she gonna be a loose goose in her head? Like I said, love is smoke and mirrors. She might love this dude so much that even if this dude do something to her sister, her own sister, this dude could do something to her own sister, and she would literally like still like talk to him, you know what I'm saying, still give him attention, you feel me? And she might even stick up for the dude, even though he did something to her own sister. That's how society is nowadays. It's really crazy.
The detective asks Dakota if she's ever gone through Chad's phone, to which she replies that she has only done so as a result of others speculating that he may have been cheating.
What would happen if he was messing around on you?
I'd be very, very, very upset.
Very upset. Yeah.
Now that the detective has glimpsed a preview of Dakota and Chad's romance, she switches gears in an attempt to learn more about another union, one with a seemingly violent dynamic.
So let's talk about Chad. There's Chad and Carl. Well, there's Carl and Robbie. And what's the other boy's name? James.
It's 4 people.
Chad's pretty good friends with these 3 boys.
I know he's good friends with Carl, but James,
I'm going on this side.
Apparently I've known James since I was little, but I don't remember it. I've ever known James. Whenever my dad moved back here, James was always over at his house, and that's how Chad met him. So it had over years he met James. And then Turtle just moved here, and he met Turtle a couple months ago.
Okay.
Turtle?
So what's the deal with this? Explain this gang to me that they're all in.
I have no clue. I find it stupid, and I told him that it's stupid because if you're gonna live in a town of 5,000 people where the majority of the people are prisoners, you don't have a gang.
Okay. But they classify themselves as a gang.
I'm not quite sure. I think something happened with the cops, and the cops started calling it a gang.
And then another thing with these young females, I wonder, she said she was 18 years old. Is that what she said? I'm not gonna go back because I don't want to mess the video up. But I think she said she was 18 years old though. I don't know. But she seems like a younger female. So I'm thinking that she likes, because usually young girls, they like bad boys too. That's another phase, of love. That's where that toxic relationship comes from. That right there. You in love with a hood dude or somebody who's, you know what I mean? That's where toxic relationships come from. So it sounds like this might be, I already called it, but I'm literally calling everything already. On just by accident though. By accident. But Chad might just be, this might low-key be Chad, one of Chad like options. You know what I'm saying? She might be thinking that she going out with him, or he telling her that they going out, but he really cheating and he really just living his best life and he not really telling her nothing and whatever. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like these dudes is like, we gonna see, bro. It already sounds stupid, bro. Like, so I'm already thinking like I said, wannabe gangsters. Like, oh my god, bro.
I told the cops they were spray painting and getting illegal weapons and illegal drugs.
In the small rural community of Pinckneyville, a so-called gang had allegedly emerged, known as the P-Town Saints, consisting of a few local members, including 17-year-old James Glazier, 18-year-old Carl Dane, 20-year-old Chad Bennett, and 15-year-old Robbie Mueller, also known as Turtle. Numerous other young men were reportedly involved in the group, but the four named in particular will remain our focus. We will now meet the youngest member.
Robbie.
Could you state your full name? Robbie Dawson Mueller.
Robbie's formal attire demonstrates a level of respect many might quantify as unusual for an interrogation. If a businessman was brought in for questioning, detectives would expect to see him dressed up in this manner. However, for a teenager, this outfit choice is quite abnormal. The detectives have been asking him questions relating to his involvement.
Oh my god, hold on, bro. This is hilarious. So this dude pulled up in a literal full suit and tie, without the suit, without the jacket, but basically a suit and tie. You already look, you know what I'm saying? You're a 15-year-old, like, you ain't no, you're specified in the game, bro. Like, you're literally already telling on you're just telling on yourself, bro, because you're trying to do this dude's trying to do too much, thinking it's gonna work. You're so dumb. This has got to be the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. He thinking that he gonna just wear a suit and tie and look all professional. Look, he got his fingers interlocked and shit like he a real businessman. They literally know you're in a gang. They literally already know. It's not like this is their first time meeting you. What the fuck? They know you. You probably already got some. They probably already know. This dude probably already went to jail for some shit. You know what I'm saying? Went to jail selling drugs or something, or he had a gun. He got pulled over with a gun in his car. You know what I'm saying? So everybody got you on file as a bad person. You trying to summon here with a suit and tie.
Quite abnormal. The detectives have been asking him questions relating to his involvement with the so-called gang, where he gives alarming detail on his brutal recruitment into the infamous P-Town Saints.
Your initiation is what? 3 people and to beat the out of you.
This dude is snitching on the gang? Oh. It's gonna be a long video, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Bro, this dude is snitching on the gang. Are you serious? This dude is crazy. This dude came in this is the rat. This is oh my god, this is the snitches nowadays. Now me personally, I'm not a street dude, so I really don't care about, you know, somebody snitch, like the whole Gunna situation. Everybody hate Gunna because, you know what I'm saying, he so-called snitch and said YSL was a gang or something like that. I don't really care because I'm not in that. I don't want to be in that too. And yeah, so it's just hilarious though. If I was, I'm gonna just act like if I was from it, what everybody would say in the comments would be like, this nigga came in here like a businessman to snitch though on his own gang. Why would you tell him that, bro? What is wrong with you?
For 30 to 60 seconds, depending on when they want to stop. Who beat you in? Chad, James, and Carl.
This dude snitching.
Okay, was there anybody else present? Believe Dakota might have been present. Did they give you a set of rules that you had to follow? I remember getting a paper or whatever that you were supposed to memorize. Oh, I can't remember it. Well, that's okay. I'm just saying, did you get a set of rules? Yeah, you're not supposed to talk about stuff with the phone. Not supposed to associate with Sydney, which I would. You couldn't talk to certain people.
And one of them was Sydney.
Yeah.
These types of initiations are often an indication of antisocial behavior. The fact that this group can stomach the beating of someone in such a way isn't just horribly cruel, but also shows that these individuals likely derive pleasure from inflicting pain and suffering on another person. Additionally, the comment Robbie made about Sydney shows that they likely had a grudge against her. Or maybe it was just Dakota that had an issue with her sister and didn't want her boyfriend and his friends associating with her. These indications of Chad being considered the dictator or commander demonstrate that Chad may possess characteristics such as grandiosity and narcissism. It's very common among people with antisocial personality disorder to have strong narcissistic traits, as they will often exploit others without hesitation or remorse to ensure that their needs are met, no matter the cost. Additionally, Robbie alleges Chad is the dictator who ordered his henchmen to carry out all of his horrible intentions. But could he have gone so far as to plan the ultimate crime? Let's hear from the so-called commander himself.
But, I mean, with the whole Saints thing, I'm out. I'm done after this.
Let's talk about the Saints for just a minute, okay? Because this is something we got to talk about.
I understand.
How long has there been a Saints?
Very long.
Long? How long?
A couple months, maybe.
Just a couple of months.
In recovered texts, Chad, codenamed Chuckles, had recited the official Saints pledge. For my fellow Saints, I hereby pledge my life to my brothers, and will do whatever is in my power to help them. If need be, I will die for my fellow Saints, just as they would die for me. This sort of unconditional devotion to the Wannabe gang is typical among these delinquent groups. Human beings have innate desires to belong and to be accepted, which drive us to be a part of one or more social groups.
We need to get together and protect each other, do what friends are supposed to do. And, that was wasn't even really that long ago. Ganja Kings just went away.
So originally you were Ganja Kings?
Yeah.
Apparently, before the not-so-well-known Peace Saints came to life.
This is how I know that I'm the real gang, because no one you're not supposed to tell the cops. He's just spilling everything. He's spilling everything. You're not supposed to tell the cops all this if you're really in the gang, bro. These dudes don't even know how to do the gang shit right. They trying to wannabe gang members and don't even know how to do it. How the fucking dumb can you be, bro? You're not supposed to tell the cops nothing. Literally. You telling them, oh yeah, the last name was this, and yeah, I haven't really been here only a couple months, yeah. Like, you just telling the whole, you're not supposed to tell them nothing. Like, what the fuck? If you want to be a gamer, and I'm not saying you should, because you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I know they be this is certain like fraternities, certain fraternities, they might do some stuff like some type of like stuff like that, but like an actual gang, like, and you out just doing, because what a gang usually consists of doing bad things, right? Let's be honest. You're doing bad things if you're in a gang. There's not nothing positive coming. There are not, you know what I mean? There's nothing positive coming out. So if you don't do that shit, bro, you can't do that shit. But if you gonna sit here and wanna be like a gang member, at least know how to do this shit. Like, study it or some shit. Study the motherfucking mafia or some shit. I don't know. Do some research, baby. You just like hearing off TV and just trying to be a gang member. Y'all probably did some dumbass shit trying to be y'all. This is what they did. They did some stupid ass shit because they was in a gang. You know what I'm saying? They did something to this little girl, bro. What'd they do?
A group of young men had previously formed what was known as the Ganja Kings, although they were supposedly no longer active at this time.
It started out with a bunch of us, and we had a setup of how it would go.
What's the setup?
Like, it's so hard to explain. There'd be us, and there'd be 3 people that were up above the rest.
And when you say us, who would be us and the 3 people that are above the rest?
Me, Carl, and James were the 3.
And so is that 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
You're number 1 because you're the OG.
I started it, right. Yeah. And then after me...
Then you're telling them that you're a gang, you're the leader. You know the leader goes down the hardest, right? That's why Young Thug is about to go to jail, because he's literally the oldest. I mean, not the oldest, but like, they saying he's sending hits and he telling people to kill people for this amount of money and stuff like that. Like, he's literally doing that. So the person who's in charge of the whole operation, you're going down the worst. You're going down the worst. So why would you tell him? Why would you tell him that? Do you want to go to jail? What the fuck? You must want to.
Me came Carl, and after Carl came James.
So the order would be 1, 2, and 3 then?
Yeah.
Top, bottom?
Yeah.
And now, does anybody else have a tattoo like you got there with Saints on it?
No, but that's gonna be gone soon.
It's what?
It's gonna be gone.
Why is that?
Because that was nothing but a big mistake.
Chad's ominous hand tattoo, showcasing a cross and skulls, is supposedly part of the gang initiation process, although it's not reported that Carl, James, or Robbie have the same one. This initiation system can be seen among various gangs across the world as a notable indication of one's allegiance to their group. But along with this, new members may be required to undergo a physical beating, such as the one described by Robbie.
Like you say, it did turn into a gang.
Oh, yeah.
And you were the leader of the gang. You were the OG.
Yeah, I know.
See, they already trying to say it. That's why he's smart. This detective smart. He literally said, "You leader the gang, right? Ain't you?" Yeah, I am. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know you are. You about to give your ass the most years. Everybody will get 5 years at the most. Your ass will get 20. Mr. Gang member, since Mr. Leader, your dumb ass.
And
stupid, bro.
Some of your guys really got into it, didn't they?
They were all really loyal. Right. I mean, I hate to say it, but they're just kind of like dogs, to be honest. I mean, they were...
Like what?
Like dogs. You could tell them to do something, they'll do it. But I never did.
But that's the point, though. Isn't that the point of a gang?
Right, exactly. This dude don't even know. Like, this dude... Oh, my God, bro. What the fuck? Am I tripping right now? This dude literally don't even know what a gang is, bro. He don't even know what it is. He don't know what it is. This dude, the cop, literally... The cop is about to explain to the gang, the so-called leader of the gang. He about to explain how to be a gang member. Watch. He said that's the whole point, Amber, is it? That's the whole point. They're dogs. They do what you know what I'm saying?
But I never did.
But that's the point, though. Isn't that the point of a gang? Is you're the leader. You have your soldiers or people below you.
Right.
And if you tell them to do something, it's just like in the army. They're supposed to do it, isn't that right?
Exactly.
Gosh, yeah.
And Carl was really into that one.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
And James was really into it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. James is probably the most loyal person we had.
People who have antisocial personality disorder with narcissistic traits have an excessive need for admiration. They'll often seek out people who will worship them to satisfy their grandiose sense of self-importance and preoccupation with power and control. Having these loyal young boys around him means that Chad was likely able to use them however he saw fit, even if it meant committing a crime or harming other people. Along with this, Chad's demeanor to the other members as dogs may be yet another indication of possible narcissism. People with antisocial personality disorder don't fully trust anyone in their lives. They're very cynical and often anticipate that others want to do them harm or betray them, even those closest to them.
I guess I don't know what you would call those guys. Would you trust Carl and James to be truthful to you?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, it's just something, I trust them, can't trust them.
So what kind of what you mean by did trust them? You mean before all this happened, you would have trusted them, but now you don't?
Yeah.
Because Chad states that he doesn't trust the others as much, this may present the detectives with an additional tool of manipulation they can use against Chad later on. For example, to foster doubt surrounding his trust in Dakota and their relationship.
But so, since this deal with Sydney, what has changed where you're concerned that you don't trust him?
Just the fact that he'd go out and do something and then try to throw me in the middle of it just because he up.
It's not going to go away until the end. And you've had to be feeling pretty bad the last 2 or 3 weeks. You've had to have a load of stress on your shoulders with this whole situation. And do you realize that that's not going to go away until it all comes out? And it will come out, because a lot of it already has.
Unbeknownst to Chad, the detectives are in possession of what the young man has been unable to provide, the truth. And as we come to learn, from more than one person, the unthinkable incident that took place on one fateful night is almost too graphic to tell.
Dang.
Before we get to that, though, let's hear from none other than the gang's second in command, Carl.
So James and Robbie were both at your grandpa's house?
Yeah.
And what did you tell them, or what did they tell you they wanted to do?
They didn't really say nothing. I'm just like, hey guys, you want to go do this?
And when you said do this, what did you tell them you meant?
Told them, want to go kill somebody?
Wow.
And did you already tell them who that somebody was?
Yeah. Right after I got off phone with Chad.
And what time do you think that was?
Like I said, around 11 or 12.
Well before Sydney's disappearance, the P-Town Saints were having a usual get-together when Chad allegedly gave Carl a .22 Ruger semi-automatic pistol. What they had in store was evil beyond measure. And participants in the sick and twisted ploy were not limited to just Chad and Carl, as you'll soon see. For now, we're introduced to James, third in command of the gang, and he is audibly shaken. It seems he's making no effort to hide anything.
So James, when you saw your mother, is that when you decided you wanted to go ahead and talk to the police?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't do this with my mom. I love you.
I love you, baby.
Oh my God.
We gotta do this. We need to do this.
Okay, James. So you want to talk to us now, right?
Yeah, is there any, I do, but...
He's scared.
You either want to talk to us, or you don't want to talk to us. Okay?
I'll talk.
What we want is 100% of the truth, okay?
Well...
No matter how difficult it is.
That's why I've already tried to protect him once. I'm done.
Okay. And when you say try to protect him, who are you talking about?
Carl.
Okay.
You 100% sure
when you say Carl,
he can't harm me?
When you say Carl, who do you mean?
Carl Dane.
Did you hear his question?
No.
You 100% sure he's in jail and he can't harm me?
Yeah.
Yes,
he's in jail.
He's in jail.
And he can't hurt it.
No,
Okay.
He's in isolation.
Dang. So this dude's scared of Carl. If anything, usually the dogs will be scared of or the people below the leader. Usually they'd be scared of the leader. The leader, they'd be scared he gonna do something to them, and that's how usually a real leader's supposed to be. If I ever watched a mafia movie or know anything about actual gangs, that's how it happens. You know what I'm saying? But it seemed like Carl was hey. Dang. So hopefully, I ain't gonna lie though, because hopefully if he do get out, he probably is gonna do something to James though. And he telling him right now, this dude is bad. He will do something. Please lock him up. And I think James 15. So bro, these are some kids, bro. These little kids, they don't know what they're doing, bro. They just on some kid shit, doing dumbass shit, bro. They got caught up in the wrong shit. That's really what it is. They got caught up in the wrong stuff, bro.
It appears that James has finally grasped the severity of the situation, but only so when his freedom is on the line.
It was Sunday, the 18th, I think, right?
Yeah, Sunday the 18th.
The whole day I've been drinking wine that I had left at home, and I got a little bit of tequila left, so I've been drinking all day.
Who were you with?
Me and Carl. That night Robbie came over.
And whose house are you at?
Carl's grandpa's.
Out in the country?
Yes.
Okay.
And Carl was driving. He asked me if I wanted to go somewhere. I said yes, and Robbie came too. And he told us on the way what he was doing. And he said if we ever talk, we were dead.
Okay, then what did he say? He told you what you were going to do. What did he say?
He told us that we were going over to take Sydney and kill him. He told us we were going to. And he had the gun down his pants, a .22 pistol.
Although James is emotional and sounds very distressed as he's describing the series of events that transpired that night, it's unknown if he was really forced to go with Carl to commit this crime, or if he's just saying this now because they've all been caught.
Oh, you smart.
By telling the truth,
guy.
he may even believe that this will lessen his responsibility for what happened. He sounds very emotional, but it's important to remember that while his tears could be due to feelings of remorse, they could also be a result of him being afraid for himself and what is going to happen to him now.
See, I'm getting bro, this isn't what they teach you though. This is what they teach you. They literally teaches you in doing this shit. They say, okay, you know, you gotta not care about what somebody think or how they, if they crying or something like that. You can't feel bad for them, and think that he's telling you the truth. Because somebody could just, that could literally just all be an act. It's literally an act. Well, imagine if it was all that. Then what? You know what I'm saying? So literally.
We went to the house, checked the doors, they were both locked.
So who all went to the house?
Me, all of us, me and Robbie.
Okay.
Robbie was to look at Carl said. Robbie and Carl lifted me up and made me unlock the doors and wake up said.
So lifted you up to where?
The patio.
They broke into her house. They thought they snuck out, but they broke into the house. Dang.
And where'd you go?
That's why. Oh, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense. That's why her room is like that, all messed up and shit. That's why.
Once you got on the patio,
I unlocked the door, the front door.
How'd you unlock the front door?
The patio was unlocked.
Well, so it was unlocked. Are you talking about a regular door or a sliding door?
The sliding door was the patio.
Yeah, so it was unlocked.
Yes, and then I went downstairs and unlocked the downstairs basement door with the Sydney's room.
It's rather suspicious that the patio door to Sydney's room had already been unlocked. And given that this intrusion happened in the middle of the night, it might not be a coincidence.
I grabbed her so Tracy didn't wake up, because if Tracy woke up, Carl was going to shoot her. I wanted to kill Tracy.
How did you know that Carl was going to shoot Tracy?
He told us before we walked in. He said, "No, leave no witnesses."
So you're in the house and you go down and let them in.
It sounds like Carl need to be the one that's leading the gang, bro. He sound more of a threat than the actual leader.
And what happens next?
Carl points the gun at her and makes me wake her up. At first, she asked me what I was doing, and she knew who me and Carl were both, because she goes, James and Carl. She said our names, and she's trying to yell who me and Carl were both. At first, she asked me what I was doing, and she knew who me and Carl were both, because she goes, James and Carl. She said our names, and she's trying to yell for Tracy. I didn't want Tracy to wake up, because if Tracy woke up and came downstairs, Carl was going to shoot her.
So what happened? To stop that from happening?
I jumped on her so she'll be quiet and put my arm mouth, and then Robbie came over and helped me.
Is she on the bed or where?
Yes, she's on the couch thing.
Okay.
I asked her to be quiet. She started walking, and I taped her hands up, Carl told me to, and I started taping her mouth. When she ripped it and started yelling, Mom, I had to stop her because I didn't want Tracy to die.
It seems odd.
I'm actually glad. What's this dude named James? I'm glad he's doing this. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Carl over here tripping out, saying, and that's his reason why you don't like who you hang yourself around, bro. Because imagine if you was just a normal person, you weren't even in that stuff, but you hang around this dude that's doing that shit. Now you go and you in the car with him, and he just say, yeah, I'm gonna do this right now. Come on. And if you tell somebody I'm gonna kill you, or you know what I'm saying, now you're just sitting there stuck. You're stuck in this shit. You feel me? So literally, if dude's tripping out and shit, I'm glad that he actually cared for other people's life, because he ain't want, you know what I'm saying, her to do something crazy and she die. Now it's two people dead. You feel me? I'm glad that he's actually, the cool person on this whole gang.
That James was apparently so concerned about Tracy, an adult he either didn't even know or barely knew, but didn't appear to show much concern for harming Sydney, who was a peer. The little regard he showed for Sydney's life makes it all the more likely that he felt the same toward her mom. As the grisly plan is underway, it seems that Carl is the ringleader in this twisted event.
I was by the door. James went to put some tape around her mouth, and she took it off and stood up. And I guess thought it was a joke, because she just stood up like normal and didn't act like anything was going on. And then Carl had the gun pointed at her, and that's when she kind of flipped out, and James grabbed her, and they wrestled to the ground and everything. And
but why is he doing this to her, this girl though? What does she deserve? What does she deserve to? You know what I mean? Like,
Carl walked over towards me and stood by me. She was kind of out wrestling him and everything, and Carl told me help him. And I went over and I put her in a chokehold.
Sean.
Like,
and she went unconscious. Carl said get her outside. Me and James, I don't remember who had what end or whatever, but started bringing her outside. Right after we got out the door, she woke up again. And he said put her in it again. James ended up putting her in a chokehold and kept it on her for quite a long time.
What happens next?
He put her in chokehold again and held it for several minutes. And he stopped, checked her pulse, and there wasn't one. James said he'll get the car.
Okay. Now this is the important part we're talking about. What happened while he was going to get the car?
Carl sat there and smoked a cigarette.
So she's unconscious now, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe even dead, right? So how did you guys get her to the car?
Somebody took an arm or a leg and just lifted her up and drug her.
Somebody?
Yeah, one of us took one arm, another guy took another arm, somebody took the legs.
So then why were pants down?
Oh.
Well, I wasn't, I was walking behind them while they were dragging, until we got to the creek, and that's how the pants got down.
So you still say that the pants were pulled down because she was being drugged?
Yeah.
And so nobody touched her?
I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, bro. If I'm thinking what I'm thinking right now, I swear to God, bro. Don't tell me they all lying and they trying to. We gonna see though. We gonna see. We gonna see, bro. Don't tell me it was a. All I'm gonna say is choo-choo train, but she wasn't even.
You sure?
Not that I know of.
This statement is considered a qualification phrase, which can sometimes be an indicator of deception. It gives the suspect an escape in the event that they later need to retract what they said. The response is rather vague and leaves open the possibility that someone did assault her.
She woke up halfway down the creek, and so I just walked 2 feet, away, smoked a cigarette.
What do you mean she woke up?
I came to.
Okay, so she woke up halfway down the creek. And why did you walk away from that? Because they had sex with her?
No, somebody, choking her, so I just walked. I didn't think I went to, smoke a cigarette.
So who choked her?
Robbie was.
Bro. It's gotta be a joke. It's gotta be a joke. What did he say, bro?
And so I just walked 2 feet, away, smoked a cigarette.
What do you mean she woke up?
I came to.
Okay, so she woke up halfway down the creek. And why did you walk away from that? Because they had sex with her?
No, somebody, choking her, so I just walked. I didn't think I went to, smoke a cigarette.
I don't know. I don't even know how to. Like, what am I supposed to say, bro? Like, let's just be honest, bro. What am I supposed to say? Like, let's just be honest. So, what, bro? Like, you went to smoke it. Why did you go smoke a cigarette? Like, was you that calm or something? Was you so that calm in a situation that you felt like everything was okay? I'm just going to smoke a cigarette real fast. Or are you that addicted to that you had to go do that? It's other them two things. But the fact that you still did it, no matter what the situation was, is just crazy. In the middle of this stuff, he's going to go smoke. Like he's a real boss leader. Like that's literally what boss leaders do in the movies. They go smoke a cigar while the little peasants go, you know what I'm saying, do some stupid shit. Like, bro, what the?
So who choked her?
Robbie was at that time.
Choking is commonly a crime of passion linked to jealousy and personal rivalry.
Wow.
But it's odd that Carl isn't the one to actually strangle Sydney, given the fact that the two had allegedly engaged in a short-term romance earlier that year. Supposedly, the relationship lasted for only a week, ending over another boy. In the past, Carl had allegedly vowed to take revenge upon all of the women that had scorned him, but no one would have thought he would take it this far.
And did anybody shoot her out there?
No.
Okay, and when you choked her this time, did she stay choked? Never woke up again?
No.
And how do you know it was Robbie that was choking her, not James? Because it was dark, wasn't it?
Because I could tell the trench coat from normal clothes.
Who had the trench coat on?
James. Just sat up and I'm like, hey guys, get back to it.
This comment is especially indicative of Carl's total indifference to the fact that this is a human life.
Thank you.
And not just any human life, but a girl he knew and even had a brief romance with.
Like, what the fuck? I'm thinking I'm tripping. I'm thinking I'm tripping right now. Like, oh, maybe I'm just... But what are you talking... Bro went to go smoke a cigarette, then say, go get back to it, bro. Y'all tripping. She woke back up, bro. Like, come on, hurry up, bro. Like, it's a video game or some shit. What the fuck? This... Like, what the fuck? Bro, this dude is like... He can't be 100% there in the head. He literally can't. He can't be 100% there, bro. He literally just can't, bro. Like, it's literally no way.
Indicative of Carl's total indifference to the fact that this is a human life.
What the
and not just any human life, but a girl he knew.
Thank you. It'd be a difference if the girl was just like, and it's not, like I said, this is not a good thing, but it'd be a difference if the girl was just like somebody random. You know, this is like a random person. It was like, okay, you know, you don't know this person, so you could really care less if they did die or not. But if it was literally your ex, literally, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Bro, yeah, he can't, there's something wrong with his head, bro. He not normal.
And even had a brief romance with.
This is crazy.
Carl's behavior is very typical of individuals with antisocial personality disorder. As he sits there with a slouched posture, practically motionless, it's very evident that he is completely void of any empathy or remorse. When law enforcement recovered Sydney's body on July 25th, 2010, she was unrecognizable and needed to be identified.
Dang.
In a meeting with detectives, Sydney's mother was asked if her daughter wore a specific type of necklace with a dangling music charm. Tracy confirmed it was Sydney's, and with the heartbreaking revelation, Tracy came to the terrible realization that her daughter was dead.
10 o'clock that night, you called Chad the next day. Is that right?
Yeah.
And why did you call Chad? What did you tell him?
Just to see what's up.
No.
Come on, Carl. You know, we're all
Did you tell him the mission's accomplished?
Told him the job's done.
Told him the job's done. And how did he know what job you had because of the phone call you made ahead of time?
Told him.
They don't even know that this is hilarious, bro. They don't even know. They don't even know, bro. Hey, we're in the hour mark of this video. If you watching right now, I love you so much, and I'm so thankful that you're supporting me. If you're watching right now, right, this far in the video, it'll come up on an hour long. This video might be like 2 hours long though. If you watching this far, comment so I know who really watching. Comment, comment cigarette. It can be kind of hard of a word to spell, but comment cigarette so I know. Bro, when to smoke a cigarette, bro, that's crazy.
Want to go kill somebody?
And did you already tell him who that somebody was?
Yeah. Right after I got off the phone with Chad.
So when you called him before you went to Sydney's, you told him what you were going to do. And you wanted to make sure that he had got Dakota out of there?
Yeah.
Is that right? Or
yeah, that's right.
Was that the plan?
Yeah, just wanted to make sure Dakota was out the house.
And he understood why Dakota was going to be out of the house. So you and him had talked about this, planning to do this.
Yeah.
To Sydney.
Carl's voice has become weaker and his words are short and prematurely cut off. He sounds defeated, and for good reason, as we'll soon learn.
It was late at night and it was dark, whatever, and them two showed up, and we was outside on my porch. they said, we need to talk, whatever, and I had Chase stay on the porch, and we went around the house and talked about it and said, we're going back tonight, you gotta go, and I told him, I'm not going, I shouldn't have been involved, I didn't want to be involved. She was a close friend of mine, and I said I didn't want to be involved.
Robbie's show of remorse is too little, too late.
Oh, God.
Although the shocking truth behind the gruesome murder has been revealed, there's still much more to the story. The detectives are well aware of the truth, however, and they want Chad to reveal his ultimate role.
You explained it in a way that's going to make it really easy for us and grand jury, Chad. You understand that? That you're the number one. Those guys that were as loyal to you as dogs. So what you're laying out is there's no possible way they would have done this without your permission. That there's no possible way they would have done that without you telling them to. You just laid that out for us. No, I did not. Yes, you did.
Chad is remaining.
I'm trying to make this video long, bro. I'm trying not to, bro. But, bro, what is this, bro? Let's be honest, bro. This dude gotta be dumb, bro. He's dumb, bro. This is literally what I was saying earlier. Like, you're literally giving them all the information that they need. And then, look, this is the funny part. The detectives know that. And they like, bro, we already got you, bro. You're the leader. You told them to do this. And you're about to get, like, 20 years in prison, bro, easily. Literally. They might get 5, maybe 10. You getting double what they getting. Whatever they get, you get double. They have so much confidence. They literally told him, like, yeah, we're about to, like, you just told us everything we need to know, right? Like, how, are you aware of how stupid you are? That's basically what they're saying. Are you aware of that? Or do you just literally don't know nothing, huh? You know nothing about the legal law. This is your first time even thinking about this. Think about the police and how we can easily find you and track you from phone calls and text messages and like, did you even think of that or no? You just walking around just doing shit. Like, people just be brain dead or something.
Unusually calm for someone who's being accused of giving permission for someone else's murder. He may believe that his reaction is in line with an honest person, but in actuality, someone who's being truthful is more likely to have a strong, adamant denial to a false accusation.
Exactly.
A truthful individual may even become hostile if their denial is not accepted.
Exactly.
On the other hand, someone who's being deceptive is more likely to offer vague denials or use a weak tone of voice, as Chad is doing now.
I have a hard time believing that you would order the murder of your girlfriend's sister. I have a hard time believing that. But you know what? You're making me believe it.
The detective is trying to shake Chad's confidence so that he'll slip up and admit to something.
Oh my God.
Once they can get him to confess to having knowledge of the attack, it will be easier to later prove that he was much more involved.
Okay.
In an exclusive, never-before-seen interview with Dakota's childhood best friend and Chad's ex-girlfriend, Jerica Coupling, she reveals exactly who Chad really was.
Whatever Chad wanted, Chad got. I do feel, and I do think, he is capable of being that person to be in charge. Wow. He's done it before.
I didn't know anything except what I was being told from Dakota and her mom. That's all I know.
Let me ask you this. Carl had a 22 Ruger. You've seen it, you've shot it, right? Mm-hmm. He claims it came from you. No way. How did you get it, Carl? Doesn't have any money.
I can't even get around guns. You know, let alone get them.
But you have been around guns. Yeah. When you're not supposed to be around guns, so that's not really an excuse.
I mean, it's just like...
As we already know, Chad allegedly supplied the gun to Carl. Him potentially lying about it takes away any credibility that he may have previously had, although that might have been slim to none.
You don't tell what's going on?
Say, if I was in their position and say someone did something, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they got off on that, and I'd be pretty pissed.
We've got at least 5 other people telling very important things about what took place. And they're all asked bunches of questions, and they all match up, and they all make sense. it's just not going to be good in the end.
Chad likely feels torn here. If he believes that the others have turned on him, as the detective is claiming, he may be worried that he will face a worse punishment for lying, not appearing remorseful, and being seen as uncooperative. However, if it's all a lie and his friends haven't mentioned his involvement, there may not be enough evidence to convict him.
What?
Without being able to communicate with them, he's faced with a decision dilemma. Rather than admit to anything, Chad maintains his innocence, but the question is still lingering in the air. Why was Sydney murdered?
Right.
There's one other person who has yet to give answers, someone unexpected but undoubtedly close to Sydney, though not by choice. Again, we're met with the lively Dakota, who up until this point hasn't been a person of interest. When we pick up, the detective leaves no room for small talk and jumps right into the most critical of information.
Is there a reason Carl, James, and Robbie did not like Sydney?
Robbie, I do believe, never knew Sydney. James, from what I have heard him say, he was getting mad because Sydney was apparently going around spray painting stuff and blaming it on him and Carl. And Carl, him and Sydney dated during spring break, which...
This year?
Yeah, which I think would have been the first weekend of April.
As you'll see, the next question that the detective asks will come as a total shock.
Which one of these warrants murder? Spray painting? See? No, let's answer my question. We got to stay on track here.
Notice how Dakota begins to touch her nose here, possibly indicating that she feels uncomfortable and is trying to soothe her nervous energy.
Why would these three... I dated her for 2 weeks. She accused me of spray painting, and I don't know her at all. Why does that warrant someone being murdered?
I don't know. I think because they're dumb, probably. Because I think Carl threatened Robbie.
Has Chad had any issues with Sydney?
Not that I know of.
Dakota is using a qualification phrase here, possibly to cover herself if it's later revealed that Chad did have an issue with Sydney. The detective has now changed her position, moving closer in proximity to Dakota to assert a pressure-building tactic, specifically promoted in the Reed interrogation technique.
This has got to stop right here and right now, Dakota. Let's switch this around. Sydney is sitting in this chair.
Dang.
And you are the one that your mother just buried.
Dang.
What would you want Sydney to do for you?
As we have previously heard, there had been a rift between Dakota and Sydney well before her death, but it was never clear on how tumultuous their relationship was until now.
Dakota did not like her sister.
Oh.
She would always talk about how she did not like Sydney hanging out with us. She hated Sydney bothering us when she had us over.
What did I say, bro? I literally called it, bro. I'm literally calling it. Everything I said, bro. I literally said it. Now, what if she wasn't even that cool with her sister? You know what I'm saying? And her boyfriend, she really loved her boyfriend more. So now, if her boyfriend do something to her sister, she really don't care because she don't hate her sister either. She don't like her. You know what I'm saying? Literally just like that, bro. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. She gonna try to stick up for her boyfriend in the end. Dang, over her own blood, though. Dang.
She would always yell at her and tell her to go the away and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, dude, like, you need to relax. Stop being mean to your sister. Because, that's your sister.
Right.
I got back a hold of her. I was like, dude, what's going on? Where's your sister? Have you heard anything? This and that. She was just so nonchalant and was just like, oh, she probably just ran away again, da-da-da. And I was just like, okay, well, when Sydney died, I went to the funeral service because Tracy talked to me about it. So I showed up, and what bothered me and made me question about everything was the fact that Dakota was acting her normal self. Smiling, bouncing around, just...
So it sounds like the whole time the girl did it, bro. No way, bro. Stop playing, bro. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that.
Just casually talking to everybody like it was no big deal.
Wow.
What would you want Sydney to do for you? You know what, hon? I've got 2 sisters. Growing up in a household, let me talk. Growing up, there's going to be a lot of arguments, okay? I argued with my sisters. I still do.
Right.
We love each other very much.
Yep.
Sydney loved you very much. Don't you think she was scared that night?
Yeah.
You've got to tell us what happened. You know a lot more to this.
Dakota is backed into a corner, both literally and figuratively, and the detective has easily gotten her to break.
I can tell you some things that I heard in and out of.
Okay, what did you hear in and out of, hon?
There was one day, it was me, Chad, Carl, and James on the car. Me and Chad were in the back seat.
What day was this?
Wednesday night?
Okay.
21st.
Okay.
And me and Chad, we were in the back seat. Me and him were talking because the 31st would have been a year ago that my dog died.
Okay.
So I was talking, I was like, yeah. I was like, do you want to go with me to put flowers on Nikki's grave?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And I was like, okay. And then I could hear Carl talking.
You heard who talking?
James and Carl in the front seat, because I don't think Chad has been giving you Chad was having the conversation. I was listening theirs. And I heard Carl say, what did you do to her? And at first I thought they were talking about someone that James had been with. And I was like, I could only hear bits and pieces.
What bits and pieces were you hearing?
I heard James say, tied around the only thing up feet.
Okay.
And then I heard Carl say, not good. Because he said something before that, and he was like, not good. And James was like, if someone finds her, they can call the cops, and then we get caught.
And this was Wednesday.
Yeah, and I had no clue what they were talking about, because I was going to think, I was like, what are they talking about?
On Wednesday, July 21st, the group was heading to Nashville, Illinois to pick...
My birthday? Bro, this is like the third thing I've seen happen on my birthday, bro. Like, what the why my birthday out of all days? And it's 364 other days. If I can choose my day. What year did they say this was? I wonder how old I was, because I could tell this is kind of older.
Pick up some K2, a synthetic cannabinoid,
K2.
When Dakota allegedly overheard the chilling conversation.
Dang.
But did she really just hear these things? Or did
wait,
she
it said,
actually converse?
2 days after the murder. Okay. So the murder didn't happen on my birthday. Okay, that's good then. But still, my birthday came up, like, it was a big part of the case. Whatever, though.
Part in the discussion. Really just hear these things? Or did she actually take part in the discussion?
Ooh, yep.
Right. Want you to ask me one thing.
That's the thing too. I be kind of believing in people, bruh. I be believing what they be saying. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't even think that they could be lying. Like, they could be lying, bro. I'm believing what they saying and stuff like that. People are just good liars. That's crazy, bro. It's crazy. The same thing what happened earlier. The dude was crying and stuff. I'm believing what he's saying, but the whole time he could have been lying. The whole time. Like,
I want you to answer me very honestly. Why did Chad order the murder of your sister, Sydney?
He ordered it?
Why did he order that? Why did he want her killed?
He ordered...
Why did he want her killed?
I don't know. Did he order...
Why did he want her killed?
I didn't even know that he wanted her killed.
Answer my question, Dakota.
I really don't know.
Repeating the question can be a possible indication of deception. There are 2 purposes to this. 1, the suspect doesn't want there to be an uncomfortable silence after a loaded question, as it may look suspicious. And 2, they need time to think as they're likely unprepared and don't know how to answer. It's also a red flag that Dakota does not adamantly deny that Chad was capable of doing this, but instead offers vague answers like, I don't know. It should be pretty upsetting to find out that your boyfriend ordered the murder of your little sister.
That's what I was thinking too, though. I was thinking that too. You'd be kind of like it's the same if somebody accuse you. If somebody accuse you of something, it's like you will be kind of hostile, right? You'd be like, bro, what are you talking about? Especially if they don't if they don't believe you, they're like, no, you did it, bro. You like, huh? I ain't do nothing. What are you talking about? Why would I do that? I ain't do that. Like, no, yes, you did, bro. You did it. And if it's the police, you know, you gonna be like, bro, what are you talking about? I did not do it. Like, you gonna be just like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, what is going on here? I didn't do it, bro. Why are you accusing me? You feel me? I didn't do it. Not, I don't know. I don't know. She's sticking up for her boyfriend, bro. This is what I'm literally saying. She's sticking up for her boyfriend over her sister. Now, it'd be crazy if she really did if she told her her boyfriend, to tell them to do something to her own sister, bro. This is a whole family thing.
But Dakota doesn't show any strong reaction to the news. And despite her persistent claims that she was unaware, Dakota says that Friday, July 23rd, the P-Town Saints had gathered at Carl's grandpa's house, where she states another exchange of words had occurred.
What was discussed about Sydney up there?
Nothing was said about Sydney.
Really?
Not that I know of.
Again, Dakota is using a qualification phrase to cover her tracks, although this doesn't really help her case.
Nobody said anything about Sydney.
I think Carl kept asking if we were looking for her and if we had found her yet. Because he was like, have you found Sydney yet? Have you found Sydney yet? Where are you looking at? Where are you looking at?
Okay. What if I told you that the people who you named off were out there that we have interviewed, and you guys all discussed Sydney?
I do not remember.
Let's don't go there, Dakota. Let's don't go there. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's time you start being honest. I'm tired of this. It's warm in here. You've got to start being honest with me. You guys discussed Sydney that night.
Dakota likely feels very stressed, which may explain her sudden increase in fidgeting with her hands. Her mind is likely racing as she tries to decide on what to say.
The conversation between you guys.
I'm trying to think if somebody else would remember what was said. The only thing I can remember was Carl saying something about a gun and how he shot someone.
Okay.
It's the only thing I can remember.
And what did Chad say?
I can't remember.
No, you do remember what Chad said, and that's what we need to discuss. What did Chad say about Sydney and the police?
I can't remember what Chad said.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. I know it's hard for you. I know it's hard.
Because all I remember was Carl told me that he said that if you tell anybody anything we talk about, I'll kill you and make it look like Chad did it.
Okay, but Chad said something about the police not looking at any of you. What did he say?
I think he said that the police weren't helping.
Okay.
Because he had asked me if the police were being any help, and I was like, no, it's like the police aren't much help. They're just saying he's a runaway, and I think that's what he had told me.
And what else did he say about the police?
I can't remember what else he said.
That he said the police were not looking at them.
I don't remember that.
You got to think.
I'm trying to think, but...
You think right now. You've got to do this for Sydney and your mom.
Stuff that they talked about, I blocked out after Carl told me that you'd kill me and blame it on Chad.
If what Dakota is saying is true, most would find it disturbing that she didn't notify the local authorities. But then again, she may have been genuinely terrified that Carl would follow through with his alleged intensifying threats. No matter, the detective wants more.
Do you realize that Sydney will never have some of the opportunities that you had?
Yeah, I know.
Was Sydney still in school?
She was going to be a sophomore.
Dang, bro.
Sydney's not going to get to graduate.
Dang.
She said she was never going to graduate.
She's got a lot of milestones. She had a lot of milestones left in her life.
You see how she just said, why would she say something negative about her sister in that moment? Why would you say, oh, she didn't say she was going to graduate? Okay. Just because she says she don't graduate don't mean she still might not change her mind and still graduate. Or she could never, let's just say something that you can't say something about. She'll never be able to turn 20 years old, 25 years old. She'll never get to have a family of her own. What you gonna say about that? Oh, she didn't want no family. She didn't want no family. Like, what is you talk? You should be feeling sorry for your sister. Why are you speaking negatively right now? Like, what the? Like, bro, what? So that's what she had to say. Is a lot of milestones she was gonna meet, no matter if she wanted to do something or not, bro. You know what I'm saying? She still don't do stuff in life that she can't do that you can do. Like, that's messed up, bro.
Never gonna graduate. She's got a lot of milestones. She had a lot of milestones left in her life. You realize Sydney's never gonna get married.
Me and my mom talked about it.
Sydney's never gonna have babies. You will never have any nieces or nephews. You have to do the right thing for your sister. She had a lot taken away from her. Your mom had a lot taken away from her. And you had a lot taken away from you. And now it's time that you stand up for Sydney and nobody else. And you've got to start protecting Chad. Chad's not protecting you. Chad hated Sydney, and Robbie just didn't know her.
I didn't even know Chad hated Sydney. He never said anything about it.
But he wouldn't tell you, would he?
No. But
He's right, you know, and that's what I don't understand. You guys are in love, and he's not telling you anything. This is not an equal 50-50 relationship.
I know.
The cries that you're seeing from Dakota might almost seem believable. However, what she will soon expose about herself will bring this investigation into a whole new light. As of now, she tells the detective of the chilling confession that Carl supposedly made to her on Friday, the 23rd.
I want to hear the whole story Carl told you the night out of his grandpa's on Friday night.
Okay. He said that he had broken into my house, and then he had done something to Sydney. I said, what did you do? He's like, all I can say is that she was shot. And I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, he's like, other than that, he's like, I can't do anything else. I was like, well, who else all knew about this? He's like, I'm not telling you who else knew. That was why. He's like, because if you tell anybody, he's like, I'll kill you and blame it on Chad.
Why didn't you tell this to the police when they interviewed you?
Dakota's story here is highly questionable. When individuals are giving a truthful account of a traumatic event, such as finding out that one of your friends shot your sister, they're more...
She didn't even have no remorse of what she said. She's like, you shot my sister? Okay. But who else knows about it? Do you even care? Do you even care that he just said that? Like,
likely to have both facts and their feelings intertwined in their account. Instead of describing her shock or grief when hearing about Sydney's murder, the next thing she mentions is to protect herself, claiming she kept quiet out of fear for her own life.
How did Carl say he got in your house?
He never said how he got into my house.
How do you think he got in your house?
Now after I'd seen the chair and the way that it is and all that, I think they went through the deck, or that he went through the deck.
Why did you unlock the door?
I didn't unlock the door.
Okay, your mom says the day before she's doing laundry, she's washing blankets. She hangs them out on the deck. She goes out later on. She gets the blankets, carries them in, and she specifically remembers locking the door.
What door?
The deck doors.
I have not been near the deck door in a long time. I was hardly ever anywhere near the deck door.
The detective is hoping Dakota will implicate Chad as the mastermind behind the crime. It remains unclear as to how the patio door was unlocked, especially since Tracy was certain that she'd locked each and every door in the house. It seems someone else had intentionally unfastened the bolt.
We know you were with Chad Sunday night at his house. There's no question about that. We know Chad gets a phone call from Carl to see if it's still a go. There's no question about that either. We know you were there with Chad when he received the phone call from Carl Sunday night. We also know you were there with Chad Monday morning when Carl called and said it's handled, it's done.
You got to tell me something. You got to tell me right here, right now. And you're right there. You want to step over. You want to step over that line. I know you do. You've got to tell me why Chad wanted her dead.
I
No, you know that.
Thing that I knew he had against her is her saying that they had, but She eventually got over that.
Okay, so
Whoa, hold on. Whoa. What you say? What you say, honey? Huh?
you've got to tell me why Chad wanted her dead. No, you know
that.
that.
The line we had against her is her saying that they had, but she eventually got over that.
Okay, so let's put that in the equation.
Dakota unveils another shocking piece of information, one that could possibly indicate a motive, and it seems that Chad was not the only person to hold a grudge. According to some sources, at one point during the pair's relationship, Dakota apparently had found her sister's diary and couldn't help but read the entries. She never could have anticipated the shocking information waiting to be discovered. As Dakota turned each page one by one, she was frozen in place as she stumbled across a detailed passage describing an alleged romantic encounter between Sydney and none other than Chad. Dakota, in an instant, grew furious, even though the alleged event had taken place before she started dating her new boyfriend. This event has never been publicly confirmed, and there's no evidence of it occurring. Nonetheless, it is something that Dakota would likely never forget.
Why did he have his friends kill her?
She didn't like the fact that I had to watch her and help take care of her.
As Sydney was facing ongoing mental health issues, her mother became increasingly worried and asked Dakota to watch her while Tracy was at work. Of course, Dakota wasn't at all thrilled to be spending the majority of her time with Sydney and apparently voiced her concerns to Chad. On top of that, the gang leader felt that Dakota's so-called babysitting duties had taken precious time away from him. And with or without knowing, the 18-year-old has just provided 2 reasons to the detective as to why Chad may have ordered the murder. Dakota has officially implicated her boyfriend, and when Chad becomes aware of this, he is clearly surprised, as would be expected.
The story she told about what happened to Sydney was the truth. And the only way she could have known it is to hear it directly from Carl or James or Robbie or from you. That's the only options there are. She could not have heard it from anywhere else.
I'm telling you, she didn't hear it from me.
So Dakota's lying about it?
I guess.
Why would your great love lie about you?
I don't know.
See, that really bugs me. You know, it really bugs me.
You too.
That you're gonna put this on now. You're gonna put it on Dakota.
I'm not putting anything on anyone.
Well, sure you are. You're just calling her a liar. You just called her a liar.
No, that's what it sounds like.
So you put it on her now that she's lying about you. Well, put yourself in our position. Who are we gonna believe? And we know she didn't hear it from us, because we haven't told anybody.
Well, I'm positive she didn't hear it from me.
Well, I'm pretty positive she didn't hear it from James or Carl or Robbie. That only leaves you.
But it didn't come from me.
She's positive that it did.
But it didn't.
You know, what I don't understand is this. You want to get clear of all this stuff. You want to back out of the gang. Yet you're not going to tell the truth about something like this. You're not going to tell the truth about the fact that Carl or James or both told you what happened that night. You're not going to support your supposed lover. You know, here you are. You're so worried about yourself that you won't even tell the truth when it comes down to something that as serious as murder. You know, I understand. What kind of standing up is that for anything?
The detectives have cleverly pitted Dakota and Chad against one another, but the P-Town leader holds steady on his position that he did not have any involvement in the murder. Although he did showcase some unusual behavior following Sydney's death, especially at her funeral.
Chad's behavior. He was crying. Chad doesn't cry. When all this other information came out, and like the speculations and the theories behind it all, nobody really knows except them.
When we return to Dakota, the detective is in pursuit of details surrounding the planning. But it won't be until the next day, when Dakota is brought in for additional questioning, that we hear the specifics, and they are quite alarming. If you think you've heard just about everything, wait until the shocking pieces of the puzzle are finally put together.
Why are you crying?
Because of Nikki.
Your dog?
Yeah. Because she is dead, so.
So's your sister.
I know, and I cried.
But you cry more for your dog than you do your sister. That's kind of disturbing to me, you know?
Dakota is hiding a dark secret, one that not even her closest friend saw coming.
She was very bubbly, and she was always pretty much full of energy and bright, and she was clumsy, and she was funny. Her normal, everyday behavior never indicated any, what would you call it, psychoticness.
When and where were you, Chad, Carl, James, and Robbie at when whoever said, we're gonna murder Sydney?
Robbie wasn't even in the picture.
Okay, so who was all there?
It was just Carl, James, Chad.
When was it?
About May.
Okay, and who brought the conversation up?
Carl did.
And what was the conversation?
Carl was like, one day I'd love to kill all the whores who me over.
Oh, it makes sense, because Carl's a dumbass already. He's dumb because he already wanted to do it because he said that stupid ass shit. Then Chad and what's the face had Chad and her, they both going with it because they have a problem with her too. So now you got 3 people who don't like you a lot, and they might just kill you just because they don't like you. It's crazy, bro.
And then James was like, who? He's like, mainly Sydney and Bobby.
Bobby's a girl.
Yeah.
But just a few minutes ago you said Chad told them.
Chad told him that he did want Sydney dead.
Carl, a deceivingly reserved person, has had a most turbulent past, and one of his ex-girlfriends, Bobby Elder, was able to see his darkest sides. While dating, Bobby recalled that at one time, Carl allegedly pointed a gun and threatened to shoot her, while simultaneously attempting to take his own life with the deadly weapon. The traumatized girl would remember what he said during the terrifying incident for the rest of her life. "The voices won't stop telling me to kill you, Bobby." Soon after that, the pair decided to split up, but that wouldn't stop the scorned ex from enacting the most violent behavior that Bobby had ever witnessed from Carl. In that disturbingly memorable instance, Carl allegedly threatened to shoot Bobby along with everyone in her house and vowed to burn the residence down. Along with this, he allegedly stalked Bobby and her new boyfriend, Joseph Whaley, who had previously been married to Carl's sister. The gang member would supposedly insinuate the use of a gun with his hand and give out a warning to his ex-brother-in-law, "You're next." In addition to the threats, Chad and Carl had allegedly committed a callous act. It's said that they shot Bobby's pet cat 15 times and left it for dead. Animal abuse is associated with additional violent crime like domestic violence, assault, and homicide. So it's unsurprising that they could do something so sinister. But as we've already found out, this is only a sliver of what they were truly capable of.
Yeah, so it sounds like this dude's actually a psychopath. So yeah, it's just...
Just a few minutes ago you said Chad told them.
Chad told him that he did want Sydney dead. But
okay.
For reasons I don't know why. And
we're just gonna go in circles, aren't we, Dakota?
Well, I'm trying to tell you, but
you're trying to tell me anything you can tell me that's gonna put everything on James, Carl, and Robbie.
Robbie wasn't in the picture of any...
For the death of your sister. And there's more to it than just those 3.
This interrogation is mostly a replication of the day before, and because Dakota is unwilling to give any further information, she's arrested and charged with obstruction of justice. She's eventually released to home confinement. But in the future, we hear from Sydney's sister yet again. And this time, nothing will be left on the table.
Hey, come here for a second. Go ahead and turn around for Ginger right back, okay? You're being under arrest for murder, all right?
Why?
If you want, you never mom. Here, for turn around back.
What is going on? I'm being
Turn on your back.
arrested for murder. What? I don't know what to do. Do what?
Just call Grandma and Grandpa and tell them that they need to call
County call 7, email 10. Here, help her put on her shoes, okay?
After the trauma of Sydney's murder, it's no surprise that Dakota's mother is hysterical and seemingly not reacting to what's happening. She's already lost one daughter, and she doesn't want to lose another.
I didn't even think about the mother of all this. That's crazy. I didn't even think about the mom, bro. That's crazy.
Although there's been an ongoing investigation into her sister's death, Dakota may have thought that her name had been cleared in the process. It would be 2 years before she's brought back in for questioning, and in that time, the evidence against her has drastically mounted. It's October 5th, 2012. Now the entirety of the sick and twisted truth will finally be revealed.
Let's get over the hump, and let's talk about this door. Let's get this door out once and for all. You hear me? Once and for all. What did you do to that door? Tell me. Huh? What did you do?
Told me to unlock it, but they just said...
Okay, look at me. Take your hands away from your mouth and look at me. What did he do?
He told me to unlock the door, but he never said lock.
And you unlocked the door.
So you're telling us, what are you telling us as far as what your knowledge is about the door being left unlocked when you were asked to do that and you did it? What did you think was going to take place?
They were just going to scare her.
Okay, so that's what you're saying. It's not that you knew for sure they were going to go in and do it and kill her that night.
In a gut-wrenching confession, Dakota has now admitted that she did, in fact, leave the patio door unlocked. And although she provides a justification, it's clear that the detectives aren't buying it.
Now, you're at different meetings. They're plotting. You know, you brought out the first time we knew that they were conspiring to kill your mom. What was talked about if your mom woke up? What were they going to do to your mom if she woke up when they were doing this to Sydney? I need you to tell me what they said they were going to do to your mom.
Chad told me that they were just going to shoot her if she had woke up.
As the layers of this terrifying story are continually peeled back, a slip of the tongue on the part of Dakota reveals another piece of information that she has been so desperately trying to hide.
Which meeting was this?
I don't know. I don't remember what days we had what days that they had.
Was it before? Before or after? Was it before or after she went missing?
You said we had meetings. They had, no. Let's not go there, okay?
The day I wasn't.
Yeah, but you said we had meetings, and you've been at these meetings, correct?
Yeah.
Dakota knew exactly what was going to take place. She knew that her sister was going to be murdered, and she did nothing to stop it. And when it was done, she apparently shared in the appalling triumph.
And you said to celebrate. What was to celebrate about?
That it was done. That's what Chris they was referring to. And Carl, Chad. Carl's the one that said celebrating. He said it several times and put up toasts and stuff.
What the fuck?
What did you toast to?
That it's done.
So the whole time was Dakota knew all about this.
Yes.
What you're saying. She knew what you guys were toasting. She knew why.
She was smiling and all cheerful and everything and toasted with it.
The group seemed to be quite happy with their organized murder, to the point that James was supposedly laughing when he viewed the tragic news segment on TV. Although, as we heard in his previous confession, his laughter had been replaced by hysterical cries. These would not be for Sydney, but rather for himself. James knew that he'd been caught, and his freedom was about to be stripped away.
Dumbass, bro. So
Nevertheless,
stupid.
it couldn't possibly compare to the way in which he brutally took hers. Following the crime on August 18, 2010, one of the group had written a note to Sydney's mother, apologizing for their unthinkable actions. Part of it read, "I just wanted to say how sorry I am. I'm not a bad person, and my life is getting taken away because of what happened. It seems like no one will believe me. I hope you do, and forgive me. I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart, and wish you the best." The writer's reference to their life being taken away is extremely self-centered, considering their punishment is the result of them choosing to end another person's life. Although they may in fact feel guilty, the penman is most likely seeking sympathy for themselves rather than truly understanding the ramifications of their actions. It has not been reported as to who the letter is from, nor if Tracy ever responded. Although Carl, James, and Robbie had already been arrested not too long after Sydney's body was found, it would be another 2 years on the same day as Dakota that Chad would also be taken in. Chad was brought in for questioning, but quickly requested his attorney, ending the conversation before it could even begin. Although, thankfully, he would not be getting off scot-free. Carl, one of the P-Town Saints' most loyal members, pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and was sentenced to 60 years in prison.
Dang.
But before he could be transferred to a federal prison, he was found deceased in his jail cell, a successful attempt at taking his own life. James was convicted of...
This dude... Bro, this dude is so... Bro, people really be this crazy out here, though. Like, they literally just... Dang, bro.
...to first-degree murder and sentenced to 60 years in prison, while Robbie was convicted of home invasion and sentenced to 26 years in prison. Chad, the notorious gang leader, was sentenced to 20 years in prison for home invasion, the result of a plea agreement that dropped the charge of first-degree murder.
Wow.
And finally, Dakota, who some would say was the actual mastermind behind her sister's murder, pleaded guilty to home invasion as part of a plea agreement. As a result, prosecutors dropped murder, kidnapping, and burglary charges.
Wow.
She was sentenced to 26 years, but could be released from prison as early as 2023.
What? Are you... Bruh.